love the YouTubes. So this is the third time I filmed this video. The first time it was just a rambling mess. I got halfway through. I thought I'm gonna restart it. The second time I filmed all the way through, just started editing it, and I realized I had something all over my chin. I have no idea what it was. So anyway, third time's a charm. Let's hope. So I apologize ahead of time if I repeat myself or am rambly, etc. But again, this is the third time I filmed this, and I'm sure I'm gonna forget what I've said and what I haven't said. So, my name is Misty. Hello, welcome. So just to kind of give you a TLDR, or too long didn't read, too long didn't watch, I'm just gonna give you a Cliff Notes version of my last couple of years. I became asymptomatic of myasthenia gravis in October of 2016 and started in January of 2017 trying to get some answers. In March of 2017, I started keto because I wanted to get off insulin, and I knew that losing weight would probably help with whatever was going on with my body, thinking that it was something that wasn't what it ended up being. So in July of 2017, I was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis is a neuromuscular junction disorder. It's basically an autoimmune disease that causes the how the muscles and the nerves talk to each other to be off. It basically causes extreme muscle weakness all over. Mine is mostly in my extremities. I do have my myasthenia eye. That's kind of one of the main side effects or symptoms for people, is like they have an extreme eye droop in one eye. A lot of people have trouble breathing and issues with their lungs because of the muscles in their chest, etc. It can be really, really foul. There's no cure, etc. Later, was that before or after? It may have even been before. I was diagnosed with two different spinal conditions. The first is called the spinal stenosis, which is a narrowing of the spinal canal. And the second is OPLL, the ossification of the posterior longitudinal ligaments, meaning the ligaments that run north and south in my spinal canal that's already narrowed are calcifying, basically turning to bone. And the only way to kind of help alleviate that is surgery. And my neurosurgeon said 200 pounds. So my goal is to get down to 200 pounds. So when I started keto in March of 2017, I was 425 pounds, and I was a type 2 diabetic who was insulin dependent. By October of 2017, I was able to get off insulin. And that's really kind of where I started seeing more weight loss. Before then, like my face, like it was like I melted. I lost so many inches off my body, on my face, etc. But the scale wasn't really moving much until I went off insulin. Unfortunately, the month before I went off insulin, I went on immune suppression therapy. Again, I have an autoimmune disease, and that's a common treatment. It's actually probably the only treatment for myasthenia, other than the mestatin, which help control the symptoms. So, and I was doing fine off insulin until February of last year. February of last year, my blood sugar numbers started to become elevated for just kind of out of the blue. They were fine, and then they weren't. And I've spent the last year struggling and frustrated with my body because doing keto, eating basically zero carb, and still dealing with really high numbers. So I mentioned in a video on Wednesday, I posted a weigh-in and update video how I was up 5 pounds, and I was just frustrated. And I've said it probably for the last year in almost every update video that I don't think the immune suppression therapy is playing well with the diabetes. And I've said that, and I've said that, and I've said that. And then last night, I finally read where immune suppression therapy causes hyperglycemia, and hyperglycemia is elevated blood sugar numbers. So I've been saying it ad nauseum for a year because it's true. They don't play well together. And in fact, transplant patients who are on immune suppression therapy can actually develop type 2 diabetes just from being on immune suppression therapy. So I'm basically been fighting a losing battle for the last year and just being frustrated. I spent 8 or 9 months in a deep, dark depression because I just felt like my body was failing me, and just It's just been a really, really, really rough year. And to kind of get that, what's the word I'm looking for? Just to finally see that I wasn't imagining things is kind of what I need, like the validation. That's it validated what I've been saying. I hate that I didn't see that until yesterday. I mean, I've been researching this crap for a year. It's like, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? But it wasn't until I typed in immune suppression therapy and high blood sugars did I find that every single immune suppression medicine on the market, one of the side effects is hyperglycemia. And like I said, I was so angry last night. And my husband, Rob, he was like, why are you so angry? He's like, now that it's not something that you're doing. And I said, yeah, it's not something that I'm doing or something that I did, but it's like, now it's like, how do we fix it? And you guys know me, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that I'm very diligent with my health and very diligent at doctor's appointments. I research until I'm blue in the face because I want to know. I had issues with a doctor. 2 doctors almost killed me in my early 20s because I used to be that type of person who went to a doctor and like, they're the expert, they know exactly what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. And then I had 2 doctors on 2 separate occasions almost kill me. I almost bled out with one of them. And since then, I've never taken what a doctor has said to me at face value until they earn my trust. And I trust my regular doctor implicitly. I mean, if he told me to jump off a bridge, it would make me feel better. I'm scared of heights, but I would jump off that damn bridge. So I don't know if he and my endocrinologist just thought I already knew that it causes hyperglycemia, or if they weren't aware that it causes hyperglycemia, because immune suppression therapy is normally done, by a rheumatologist or a neurologist or something like that. It's not necessarily what a normal, family practitioner will do, even an endocrinologist. So we've all kind of been beating our heads against the wall, and it's like, here's been the answer the whole entire time. So here's the answer of why my blood sugars have been elevated, but now the question is, how do we fix it? So I was off insulin from October 2017 until last Monday, and the insulin hasn't been helping. And that's another thing. I've been so frustrated because I'm back on insulin and it hasn't been doing anything. My blood sugars are still the exact same in the morning as they have been when I wasn't taking any. So it's just been a frustration after a frustration after a frustration. And the only kind of silver lining to this has been that I didn't do this to myself. And I know people look at me weird when I say that, because that was my biggest concern with when I got the myasthenia diagnosis and when I got the spinal issues, diagnosis, is, did I do this to me? Is this something that I've done, where I've eaten, is this something that I've done to endanger my health? And the answer to that is no for any of it. So that makes, I feel absolved of guilt or absolved of really kind of any fault. This is through no fault of my own. This is a medication that's trying to fix one part of my body that is causing another part of my body to not work. And unfortunately, that's the name of the game when you take, pharmaceutical drugs. That's why they always have so many side effects. And that's why I ended up in ICU with organ failure, because I was taking a diabetes medication, that one of the side effects was DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, which can be deadly. So it's just the name of the game. But do not leave a comment down below telling me that I need to get off medication, because this is the way you treat autoimmune diseases is you suppress your immune system, because autoimmune diseases are basically where your immune system is out of control. It's trying to, fix something that ain't broke. And through trying to fix something that ain't broke, it breaks it. It's crazy what your body can do. So, yeah. So through all of this, it's like, okay, so what's the plan of action? So I see my doctor next Friday, my regular doctor. I just saw my endocrinologist, like I said, last Monday. Excuse me. So I have a note on my phone with 15 questions already, but it's like, you know, what do we do? Like, how do we work around this? What's the workaround? How do we counteract the hyperglycemia effect from the mycophenolate? You know, what would happen? You know, is it the same kind of drugs that are in the infusions? Because some people do IV infusions and instead of taking an oral medication. Is that the same kind of drug? Is it, you know, is it an even more concentrated version of the drug? If you are on infusions for an autoimmune disease, if you'll leave it down below, if you know what medication you get, I would really appreciate it. Because if there's a medication that can be intravenous, you know, that it doesn't cause hyperglycemia, or hyperglycemia isn't one of the side effects, is that something that I can look into? So it's like I have all these thoughts going through my head, and every time I think of something, I put it in a note so I can ask my regular doctor, who may or may not know. But if he doesn't know, maybe he can point me in the right direction. I haven't reached out to my neurologist yet. I don't love her. I really, really don't. She was much better our last appointment, but the couple appointments before that, it was like we'd never met. So yeah, but she was better this time. But my doctor said, he's like, you know, there's not a whole lot of people around that subspecialize in neuromuscular junction disorders. You know, that's a small small sample of all of the neurologists in the world. And I follow one in New York. And if he took my insurance and he was accepting new patients, I would get on a plane tomorrow and go see him, because he just seems to be such a wealth of information. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But so that's kind of where my train of thought has been. Now, I had planned to sit down today and film a video anyway, because I'd kind of come up with my own game plan on how I wanted to see what would help get the blood sugars down. Because the main number that causes the issue is the fasting. And I mentioned in a weigh-in video last week or the week before that my doctor said that when my body goes into a fasted state, my liver just dumps all the glucose in the world, apparently, and it causes my blood sugars to be elevated. And so, you know, that's why intermittent fasting didn't work for me. And I've talked about that in the past, you know, and I had said that when I was intermittent fasting, I was like, my blood sugars are higher when I intermittent fast. And that's why my body just cannot handle being in a fasted state. So what I thought, and what I still may do, or I may wait until I talk to the doctor, I haven't 100% decided, is I was considering eating every 2 to 3 hours and starting an hour after waking up. So with the mycophenolate, I have to eat 1 hour before, no, I have to take a pill 1 hour before I eat or 2 hours after eating. So I was thinking if I got up at 7, I could start eating at 8, and then I would eat every 2 to 3 hours, with my last meal of the day being either at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. And I'm not talking about like meals. I'm talking about food. So like I was thinking, you know, whatever I could eat for snacks, like some cheese cubes or a couple of tablespoons of nut butter, or maybe a couple of strawberries if I was eating strawberries that week, or maybe, you know, just something, either a protein or a fat, because I've been eating zero carb, and I will probably continue to eat as zero carb as I can, you know, carnivore as I can going forward. And before I get a bunch of comments, Dr. Barry, you guys love him. He's on a carnivore diet. Keto with Casey. She's said several times that you don't need fiber. So I'm not the only person preaching that, you know, dogma. There are a lot of people in the keto community who realize that your body doesn't necessarily need fiber. So don't come at me, bro. Okay? Don't come at me. So I may try that. And then I was remembering that Rob told me about his ex-wife's pregnancy, which was 25 years ago, I think. I think that's how old his daughter is. She had to get up in the middle of the night to eat because she had gestational diabetes, and he wanted her to help keep her blood sugar kind of level throughout the day and the night. So if the eating every 2 to 3 hours doesn't work, maybe eating, you know, in the middle of the night on top of that will work too. And just whatever I need to do to kind of keep my liver from dumping glucose. And will this work? Who the hell knows? But it damn sure can't hurt anything. At this point, I'm out of answers. And like I said, I've been doing everything. There's nothing that I'm doing on my side of the table other than taking medication that is causing my blood sugars to be elevated. And it's easy for people to make assumptions like that jackass did about me just binging on carbs. But the fact of the matter is now that I know, and now you guys know, that it's the immune suppression therapy causing the hyperglycemia. And now, like I said, the whole next however long is going to be trying to find and pinpoint a way to calm that reaction down without going off immune suppression therapy, because I have to treat the myasthenia or I'll be bedridden. I mean, myasthenia is what causes my mobility issues. And if it went untreated, it went untreated for 8 months and I thought I was literally dying. So I can't allow it to go untreated. So, it may just be that I have to be one of those people who run with elevated blood sugars. So, like I said, I don't know. It's a conversation that I've got to have with at least my primary care physician. And if not him, then maybe my neurologist, or maybe I need to seek out, someone new. I don't know. I don't know these things. So, yeah. So, I can't believe that it's taken me this long to find that little piece of information. Like I said, I've been researching, and I don't know why it took me so long to finally just put in immune suppression therapy and high, elevated blood sugars, but there it was. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where my game plan is. I'm still really frustrated with the 5 pounds up, but like many of you said, there's no way it can be fat. It has to be water weight, and I agree with that. I've been dealing with swelling. This weather, I'm so over it. We haven't had snow or anything like that, but it's been such a roller coaster. Like today, I think it's 48 and I'm freezing. Tomorrow it's going to be 70. Sunday, it's going to be back down in the 40s. And we've just been like this. And my body's like, I just need you to be one thing. And then Rob and I were talking about how next Friday is the 1st of March. And March can go 100 different directions. It can be, I remember one year spring break, we had a snowstorm in March. It can be in the 80s in March. It can be, Tornado City in March. So March and April are kind of iffy months. In fact, I was born on April 29th, and I was born like during a blizzard where I was born. So in Oklahoma. So the weather around here can be nuts. And it just wreaks havoc on every single bone and joint in my body. And it just sucks. But again, at the end of the day, it just is what it is. I have to learn to live with it and see what we can do to fix it or help it. So yeah, so I feel a little bit better about it today. Like I said yesterday, I've just been really frustrated the past couple of days. Wednesday was the absolute worst, because I'm just over it. That's why I told my doctors, like, I'm over it. I just want to feel normal. I just want to have a day where I'm not concerned about blood sugars or anything like that. I just want to have a day where I'm just misty. I'm not, someone with this, and this. You know what I mean, Vern? So yeah, so thanks for listening to me ramble. I think the 3rd time was the charm. Now there better not be any damn issues with this video when I go to transfer from my phone to my computer, because I think I was succinct and, got my point across, and it wasn't really rambly, and I didn't have something all over my face. I think it was a tomato. I had a new, Sonic has new breakfast bowls. They are tiny. They're probably 2 eggs. So I guess that's not too bad. But it has bacon and a little bit of onion and a little bit of tomato in it. And it's not bad. It was like $2.50. I think if you're out and about and you need something low carb, or you just need a snack, if you got that and then like added a side of bacon or whatever, I think it would be perfect. And I'm pretty sure Sonic serves breakfast all day. I could be wrong, but I think they do. So good low carb option at a fast food joint. But again, where was I going with that? It's something that I could easily make at home, but I was out and about, and sometimes I say I can easily make it at home, and there are days I can barely feed myself. So you know how that goes. But anyway, I will definitely see you guys next week for a weigh-in on Wednesday probably, and then I may film a video after I see my doctor on Friday. I'm not sure. I am making a Philly cheesesteak pizza either tonight or sometime this weekend. I'm going to try to film that if I can. I'm not making strawberry shortcake. I think I mentioned that in Wednesday's video because those strawberries are vile and disgusting. I'm so sad. Strawberry is the only carb that I have, any kind of fiber that I have. And the last couple times we bought them, they've not been very good, which is disappointing because that's where we were buying them at Aldi, and that's where I got those 2 giant strawberries, and they were so good. But the last 2 times I'm like, no, they're gross. So I don't know, maybe if I'm having an aversion to strawberries or what, but who knows. Anyway, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend wherever you are. I appreciate you. Love you. Bye for now.